Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon based on where you're located in the region. And thanks so much for joining today's webcast hosted by CIMcloud. My name is Ali Ortiz, and I'm the ISV Program Manager here at Sage. Just a few logistical items before we get started. The presentation will be around 45 minutes, so we'll have time for questions at the end. So please enter those in the Q&A panel on your screen, and we'll make sure to go through those. The webcast will also be recorded, so we will distribute the recording and a PDF of the slides next week. With that said, I will go ahead and pass it over to Jack Evans from CIMcloud to kick off the presentation.
Thank you, Ali. Welcome, everybody. And as she alluded to, we're going to walk through a product that some of you may have seen on the Sage Marketplace. Some of you may be aware of it from online research, and some of you may be aware of it from your Sage reseller. So we're going to walk through the Sage 100 customer portal presented by CIMcloud or powered by CIMcloud. And I'm going to kind of keep things somewhere between high level and in the weeds. So we are going to go through, as Ali alluded to, a Q&A session at the end to hit any questions that I don't cover today. I'm not going to spend the full time in PowerPoint. So for those of you that don't want to be in a classroom setting, don't run for the hills. We're going to see a lot of product live and in action today. I will be showing the full circuit integration with Sage 100. So anybody can put things up on a screen, but it's important when you're using the word integration to show that proof of concept. So I'm going to kind of show you both the base product as well as a couple easy add-ons and get you some high level information. And to put a face with a voice here, as Ali alluded to, my name is Jack Evans. I'm the sales manager here at CIMcloud. So what that means, a nice big shiny title there, but what that means is I work with either myself directly or one of my reps on the new customer acquisition team. That would be obviously new customers coming to CIMcloud, either directly. Obviously, we want you to come through your Sage reseller or Sage partner and come to us with a objective as a business. So that may be trying to increase visibility into order history. That may be trying to streamline payments. That may be even introducing a full brand new website. But regardless, I work with new customers, establishing project requirements, and obviously building a scope and a plan to implement the CIMcloud solution. And I have a team of reps on that side of things. And then I also work and manage our customer success and customer growth efforts for existing customers. As they do upgrades, new projects, even some complex things like adding on new company files or new brands altogether. So that face on the screen there will be the voice that you were hearing. So I'm going to walk through, like I said, kind of a high level agenda and a high level introduction to the product. We're going to talk about kind of the features of the CIMcloud solution and why you as a Sage 100 user should be thinking about a solution like CIMcloud. We're then going to pivot into the benefits. So what you get out of it as a business. So kind of the features would be the why, the benefits would be the what. I'm then going to walk through a live demonstration of our product and of the exact SKU that you can find on the Sage Marketplace, introduce the pricing, and then briefly go through some optional upgrades that you could take on either as part of your phase 1 project or as part of a phase 2 or phase 3 strategy, and then just introduce where we can go from there. As Ali alluded to, we will be doing a Q&A session. She also has an audience poll queued up for us towards the end of the presentation today. So these things are a lot more fun and obviously informational for you when you ask those questions. So just pile them on in there and I'll make sure we have time at the end. So we're going to go ahead and dig in here. And I'm going to use one kind of big picture slide to help you understand the why or the reason for being for CIMcloud. So if you're in the audience today, you obviously are working for a business or owning a business or working on behalf of a business that's running Sage 100. And regardless of what your business does, what your ERP system is, businesses are ultimately trying to do two things. You either want to grow your sales, i.e. generate as much of the revenue or of the capital being spent in your market as possible. So in a perfect world, 100% of the dollars that go into your industry come across your paper. That would be dominating your market. You also want to do that as efficiently as possible as a business. or you want to do that without adding proportionate headcount, or just overall costs. That may be infrastructure, that may be in the form of employees. But what this ultimately culminates to is a healthy bottom line. So if you can grow your sales while either maintaining or decreasing your operational cost, that's obviously more capital for the business that can be reinvested, that can be obviously given back to your employees in the form of bonuses, in the form of promotions. So just as you think about the goals of your business and any other business in the audience today, it's to maintain that profitability. And where CIMcloud fits in there, and I'll show you some things throughout the presentation that fit into one or both of these categories, but it's providing a software solution that allows you to grow your sales without having to grow headcount proportionately. And the way you do that is with solutions like CIMcloud that allow your customers to self-service, whether that's checking order status without having to call in, whether that's making it simple, easy to place orders online, make payments, do things that are transactional in nature, that obviously get cash into the business, or just providing an overall better customer experience that keeps customers sticky to your organization and keeps them from looking for alternative solutions. And excuse me for a little cough there. So again, if you're in the audience today, you want to be doing one or both of those things. So this is where CIMcloud comes in, as I alluded to, by providing a frictionless self-service experience for customers or for your customer's customer. And this also applies to employees that I'll get to as well. But this would kind of fit into that model of saying, if you are allowing customers to do business online, you can grow your sales without having to grow your headcount. So the CIMcloud customer portal, or the Sage 100 customer portal by CIMcloud, is up on screen here. What it allows you to do is give your customers an online tool where they can track orders, they can track shipments, they can track invoices and or the payments that they're making. That could be in the form of a payment in full, that could be a prepayment, that could even be taking an existing credit on their account and applying it against an open invoice. Again, all of that with data coming from Sage 100 and everything being done on the web flowing back into Sage 100. Another thing that I'll show you that I briefly alluded to a moment ago is the CRM workspace, where your customer-facing employees or even your behind-the-scenes accounts receivable or accounts payable personnel can get access remotely to that same Sage data. And I mentioned this a second ago here, but all of the CIMcloud application that I'll show is powered by our bi-directional real-time integration with Sage 100. So just a little bit of proof of concept will be demonstrated today. But the key thing is, if you're going to give your customers a tool or your employees a tool and say, hey, this is how you answer questions, this is how you place orders, this is how you make payments, that needs to have accurate real-time information coming from Sage. And then it also needs to have that same accurate information or the transactional information flowing back into Sage. I'm going to briefly draw on screen here at risk of having things go haywire. But what CIMcloud's doing is we're taking that Sage 100 install that you already have attached to your business or that's running behind the scenes in your back office. We install our proprietary sync tool directly on or beside that ERP server. So we're creating a field mapping of the big data as well as the small data. So that could be your customers, their bill tos, their ship tos, your products, their prices, their inventory levels, their quantity increments, all the way through tax schedules, order history, invoice history, things that are more client specific. And what we're doing is we're creating that field mapping guide, which again is powered by the sync tool. And what's happening is you have accurate information in the ERP, accurate information on the tables and fields in the back end of CIMcloud. And then that data is pushed and pulled to and from login-based applications or a login-based portal so that your customers and employees can do business online. So what you are seeing here, and this is not my best drawing, not my worst drawing, is a data flow out. Customers and employees can interact with it on the web. and then anything that they do transactionally on the web would then flow back in to the ERP system. Let me get rid of this pen. I might have bit off more than I can chew here. So now let's go to the benefits of CIMcloud. We've kind of talked about that a little bit, but this could be step one or just an additional step into driving your business forward, and allowing for Amazon-like tools, Amazon-like experience, things that customers of your business, and really all of us, including yourselves, are used to in our day-to-day life. We're not used to having to call a business when we need a new pair of tennis shoes. We're not used to having to, put a check in the mail when we need to pay our rent or our mortgage or whatever that might be. We're not used to having to go into the bank to get cash. We're used to being able to use an ATM or to deposit a check. We can do that online now. And as we've seen really over the last 5 to 10 years, but especially since COVID, is now we don't even have to go anywhere to get groceries or to get, with the Amazon being the seller of all things, we don't have to go there to really get anything. So again, this is just a step for businesses like y'all in the audience to be able to take incremental or large steps forward using Sage 100, which is a massive investment your business makes again and again to stay current. And then all the different ISV solutions like CIMcloud that you can take advantage of. But we want to make sure that your investment in Sage as the technology backbone of your business is future-proofed. And what I'll be showing you today is step one towards doing that as it pertains to customer interactions. So I'm going to go through a demonstration. Sometimes PowerPoints are great, but sometimes letting the product speak for itself is the best way to give you guys food for thought and then also some questions to ask. So I'm going to skip one ahead there. I'm going to use the Grind Supply Company. Now, don't worry, this is a fake coffee distributor that's tied to my Sage install that you just got a sneak peek into. But the key thing here is you could take a website that is pre-existing. So you may have made significant investments. You may have a marketing team that have said, hey, we like our website. It tells who we are, what we do. We don't need to overhaul that. We just need to latch on a customer portal, which is where we're seeing here at the login page. And we want customers that are B2B or wholesale or our dealers, whatever vernacular your business uses to describe those customers. And we want them to be able to log in and do business on their own. So if you look at kind of what's going on screen here, and what I showed you from the diagram that we were just looking at, the username and password that's being used is associated with a contact, and a contact is associated with an account. Now, what we do when we do the integration is we say all website accounts are tied to a customer record inside of Sage 100. So that would be that one-to-one relationship so that when users log in, they only see things that pertain or data that pertains to their business. So I'm going to log in here if I can get my password right. And again, this is the exact product that's available on the marketplace. And I apparently cannot type and talk at the same time. Let me do one quick thing here. And I'm going to try this one more time. And I'm sure I'm skipping something or doing something wrong. Obviously, I couldn't type in my password. And let me try this one more time. If I can't get this working, I got a backdoor in. That doesn't seem to make sense. I'll try again. And then if not, I'll take a backdoor approach. So 15th time is the charm there. And sorry for the issues. But again, the ability to log in and do business is kind of step one there. So everything I'm showing you here is included in that marketplace offering. If you look at kind of the top-down view, all of this is designed to kind of be the customer journey, if you will. So the first thing that I would want to do is track the order. Has it been received? Has the items been shipped? Did anything back order? Did anything, is there any comments that the business made? Is there anything I need to be aware of? So that would be all up here in the orders and shipments section that I'll dig into just a little bit here in a second. Then the next step is, okay, I've received my order. Now let me go look at the invoice. Maybe I didn't check the order status and I feel like I'm missing a couple items. So let me go see what I was invoiced for. Or I may just be in the accounts payable department, and at the end of the month, that's when I go pay the bills. And so I'm going into the invoices there. But that would be kind of the next step in that customer journey. Ultimately, then going in and doing payments and credits. And then down here at the bottom is all about account management. So maybe I've had a new accounts payable or a new warehouse resource that has left the business and I need to reset a password. Maybe I'm using the portal for payments and I want to change out the credit card that's saved on file. Or maybe I have a new ship to location. Maybe we just opened a new retail store and I need to add a new shipping address or edit the shipping address. So think of this as kind of your account management function down here. So the first thing I'm going to go into is the orders section. Now, what you're seeing up here is all standard functionality. This can be turned on or off. So a lot of times I have customers that say, hey, this is a little bit noisy up top. And I just want to trim this down and show 3 or 4 things that customers can do. So you as the platform owner of CIMcloud can choose to do any and all the functionality that's available for you. But when I get here, I can filter this. I could say, show me all orders this year, all orders this month. Maybe I want to say, just show me all open or completed orders. So I can do some advanced filtering there. But the key thing is when I come into a sales order, and I'm actually going to go to a completed one just to give us a little bit cleaner view. So when I come into this completed order, I can see a variety of information, but the key thing to point out is that all this information is coming real time and live from Sage 100. So if I go into my sales order history table and look at the, where is my sales order history down here? And if I go search for that order number, everything that's available and that's displayed on the website is all coming off of the header details, the address details, the line item details. So it's displayed in that user interface on the web, but it's designed to be an exact replica of the data that they would get if an employee at your organization was using Sage as a system of record to kind of answer these questions. So I can see obviously the different details, the different order totals, where it was billed to, where it was shipped to. So maybe that's the same. That also, as many of you have within your business, those could be 2 completely different addresses. I can see status on the line items. So what's shipped, what's back ordered, any relevant comments that may be tied on that. That could be, you know, this item is large, please have somebody available to help carry it in. That could be, this item is going to ship separate, whatever that might be. I can then see the invoice that's tied to that sales order, and I can link to it from here. I'm also going to show that invoice from a different vantage point. And the last thing is the shipment. So we're reading the shipment information directly off of the ERP. And the key thing to point out here is if it's shipped via FedEx or UPS, we're actually linking into their tracking system. Now, this is a fake tracking number for demo purposes, so it's going to error out. But you can see the value there of saying, hey, customer XYZ, this is where you can go track your shipment. And then if it went out via some internal method, LTL, something that doesn't have an actionable tracking number, we'll still display that for reference purposes, just like the invoice would if you mailed it out in paper. But the key thing here is just giving visibility there. And as I mentioned, you're going to have the shipping comments as well. So those are all relevant things that customers need to know. What's my order status? What's on the order? What's the shipment number? And when should I expect to have it? So coming a little further down here is the invoices section. So similar to the order section, you can choose which and what of this you want to display. So the My Account statement is going to give different things like AR aging. It's going to give any credit limits that are on the account. Is the credit status good? We have some ability, if you want, to display any credit balance. So maybe you overpaid on last month's order. Maybe you had some things that were returned and they just applied a $300 credit to your account. That could be displayed here as well. And then I'm going to have open orders, open invoices, and any account adjustments that were made. Now I'm going to come at this from an open invoices standpoint. So if I go into this report here, similar to the order functionality, I can filter against this. I can apply date ranges. I can group it by different variables, all designed to give users ease of access and an ability to quickly and easily answer the questions that they need. If I come into an open invoice, similar to what we looked at on the sales order, this is all going to come over from Sage in real time. So any changes to the invoice, any changes to the sales order will occur in Sage 100. I can see the same details, so shipments, prepayments, or partial payments, line items on the sales order. Because we have all the data from the invoice on the website, we're going to be able to run the due date versus the invoice date and display a past due or a current indicator. So if it's current, it's green. If it's past due, it is red. Nice little logic there for us. But what's really cool here is when I go to the payment page, it is actually going to display the entire open balance for this account, not just the invoice that I came to pay. This does two things. One, it's going to increase that awareness. So, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, we would love to collect the $12,870 that you came in on, but in reality, you owe us far more than that. As you can see here, I did a little test payment before we hopped on this morning just to make sure everything was going smoothly. I should have tested the login a couple more times, I guess. But your user behavior that you would expect is that they select all and clear that entire balance. But the key thing here is you want to get them while they're in payment mode and make it easy for you to get paid. So you're increasing awareness, and then you're providing an easy online way to get paid. So when I select that single invoice, you're going to see the payment methods that are available. This would be credit or debit card, and then ACH, which is your bank account option. You in the audience, as the owner of the CIMcloud platform, can decide what payment methods you want to take. So one thing that I've seen that's common in the industry is people trying to move behavior out of checks in the mail and move that into an ACH environment. I had a customer recently tell me that the way they plan on getting the adoption from the solution is to aggressively suggest that those check customers go online. And one way they're going to do that is this modem here that says, hey, I know you got a check in your hand. Why don't, instead of putting that in the mail, why don't you just give me that routing and account number, and then we can facilitate that via ACH. Another thing that we've seen in the industry is when customers are paying via credit or debit card, a lot of your customers or customers of CIMcloud do like using a credit or debit card and getting those points. So again, you can take that payment online, and then we do have some advanced kind of custom functionality should you want to follow and comply with the Visa guidelines or the payment merchant guidelines, and do some surcharging so you're not incurring that cost as a business. Again, all of that within the guidelines from the credit card companies, but that's something that's becoming more and more common in the industry. Now, when I pay this invoice, a couple things are happening. First thing is an email that you can see here is going to go to the customer saying, hey, here's your payment receipt. You can also copy an accounts payable resource. You can copy account management resources on your end, just so that they're aware that the payment was made there. So within CIMcloud, we're actually not processing the funds. We're taking a compatible gateway, of which there are many, and we just pass those credentials to the merchant. The merchant sends us back a green light. And then what we're doing is passing a cash receipt into the ERP system. So no need for your team to go create those cash receipts on online payments. We actually will create them for you. So when I go into my cash receipts journal, as you can see, there's going to be some cash receipts I need to clear out of my test system here. But when I go down to the very bottom, I am going to see two 531 payments, one being the $1 test that I did this morning. And here is that invoice payment that we just paid online. That's the $12,870. And then from there, your accounts receivable team would then do your daily batching. You would measure that up against the merchant accounts. You file this away in your folder structure and balance the books. The exact way that you're currently doing it, you're just eliminating the need to receive the payment either over the phone or obviously in the mail. So kind of trying to streamline and automate that process, removing that human effort where we can do it. So that is the payment side of things. And then just going to briefly mention again here, the contact us if customers are having issues, if invoices don't look correct. There's a quick form that would come to your team. And then as I alluded to, any changes to the account structure that needs to be made can be done from within the system as well. Now, there is a couple things that I mentioned earlier around employee visibility and the ability for your reps, whether they're internal customer service representatives, this could be field representatives. Let me log out of here real quick. And that might have been a risky business. But the big thing that I alluded to is giving that all-in-one tool for both customers and employees. So now when an employee logs in, they're going to have a completely different experience, but it's all going to be powered by the same Sage data and that same Sage integration. So if I'm an internal customer service rep, I may have access to all accounts, and I can come in here and look at sales orders, look at invoices, apply payments on behalf of customers. And again, the user or the username and password is going to tell us what accounts are tied to their role at the organization. So again, it's going to be very user specific or worker specific on this side of things. I can then come into the account dashboard here. I can see recent sales orders, recent invoices, recent shipments, as well as go into specific reports. You'll notice this looks very similar to that customer interface that we just saw. And then I can come in, I'll go to that exact same one, and I can get that same level of detail. So this is obviously really beneficial in a world where many of us have a hybrid workforce. Our employees then don't have to VPN or use some third-party tool to get data from Sage or to interface with Sage 100. This also is really applicable for territory or account management style reps that are not in the office. They may be going to do a client visit. They may be working from home in the morning, just doing some paperwork, but giving them that quick and easy access and a tool that gives them visibility is obviously very beneficial for your organization. So this would be kind of your round trip view there. Show one or two other quick things. You can see website visits. So which of my customers are using the website? How many of them are just looking at things versus actually making payments? So you can kind of go big brother and see how the platform is getting utilized. And then as I alluded to, you could take a payment method that they have on file. Maybe I'm a customer service rep and I'm getting a call in. The customer says, hey, can I give you a credit card over the phone? Well, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, do you mind if I just use the credit card that you have on file? And then you just go and apply a payment on their behalf. Again, same integration on the back end, same data on the platform, just a different user experience. So I'm going to come back into a demo in just a minute. But what I wanted to do was stay focused on the Sage Marketplace SKU. And I'm going to get you some basic pricing information. So all of this information is available online. And this is a SKU or a product offering for us that is available exclusively through Sage. So you would need to purchase it from Sage via your reseller or going to them directly. And so what you're seeing here from a pricing standpoint, there is a one-time connect fee of $4,000. That's going to cover all of the labor for us to do the integration, stand up the platform. Also included in that is onboarding and orientation assistance. So us kind of doing a familiarity call, walking you through the platform with your data on it, giving you the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. There's also check-in calls while you're going through the testing and implementation of the platform. And then from an ongoing standpoint is your monthly fees. So the monthly fees are for us to run the application, host the application. As I mentioned, we do have implementation support and then live site support. That live site support, we have a designated ticketing team. So you have 24/7 support during business hours. We're fully staffed. We also have after hours resources, all of which are based in North America. So your monthly fee would basically be everything that you need to continue running the application and then be supported while you're managing and administering the application. and everything that I just alluded to is available. So all the order tracking, invoice tracking, ability to make payments, the real-time bi-directional integration, and all this is available to you via the Sage Marketplace. So now I'm going to take a step back, and I've alluded to things like orders, I've alluded to things like inventory visibility, and I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about how you can start with the Sage 100 customer portal, and then you can add on different features and functionality either in phase 1 or phase 2 to kind of make this more tailored and custom to what your business needs may be. So if I hop back over into a different demo system, you're going to notice a very similar look and feel here, although now I have this product discovery mechanism and an ability to place orders. So this is what we were just looking at, which is all of the order tracking, the AR visibility, the ability to obviously see where things are throughout that kind of fulfillment process. But further up the top here is going to be the ability for you to actually display products and sell products online. Same benefit as we talked about with the accounts receivable and order tracking functionality. Everything's going to be powered by your Sage 100 system. The only difference here is we would now be bringing over items from your item maintenance records with real-time pricing that could be generic or customer specific. And I'm going to walk through just a couple high-level things that customers are able to do here. So you could display a full product catalog, and again, within that full product catalog, you can have categories, subcategories, things like parent-child relationships. Maybe you sell a drill bit and it comes in a 5x8 or a 10x15. That math probably doesn't line up for any of my engineers in the crowd here. But again, you can display products online. You can drive users to individual product detail pages. You notice I just searched by SKU, which many B2B customers are accustomed to doing. I can now see real-time pricing that's specific for my account, quantity pricing, all of this coming over from the ERP system along with the SKU. Many customers choose to use the name on the website as the short description from the item maintenance record. So you can add items to cart this way. A couple other ways that users can find products and discover products is a favorites list. So this would be a user-generated list. Maybe this is my monthly order. Maybe I'm a retail customer of yours, and I have 15 items that I stock on the shelf. So every so often, I come in and basically get whatever I need to have full inventory in my retail shop. And then a different view in there would be dynamic Sage-driven reports, like a frequently ordered, that says, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, you don't want to browse and shop. I know you're busy throughout your day, but these are the products that you buy again and again. And here's how often you bought it. Here's the most recent time you got it. So really taking that transactional history that Sage has of your customers and then making it very quick and easy for them to find products and see accurate information. Now, just for demonstration purposes here, I showed a cash receipt going into the ERP system. I'm going to walk through and show a sales order coming in. Now I can see different things here. Where's the bill to address on the account? You're going to notice this is hard coded. If I look at the address book here, this would be all the different ship tos that are associated with that product. And as I go through the checkout process here, there's a couple other things that are happening that are looking at this customer's information. So you can have customer specific shipping options. Maybe some customers are just FedEx and UPS. And then for some of your strategic accounts, you guys cover the cost of shipping because they do so much business. So we can get really granular there. You may have customers that are saying, have a trade show on Tuesday. Please call me if this won't be here. And we'll pass in that shipment comment as a miscellaneous line item on the sales order. We're going to look at the customer's terms. So maybe you have some customers that are cash in advance or cash on delivery. Maybe you have some customers that are net 15, net 30. Maybe they're all net 30. So if I'm a terms customer, I can actually place this as a PO. So really replicating the same experience they would get from doing business with your business via the phone, via email, via an in-person meeting. So we'll just call this Sage test here. And when I place this order, the same thing as the invoice payment, there's going to be an email that goes to the customer confirming the order. You can set up a copy to go to your fulfillment team. It could go to the account management team, as I mentioned earlier. But what you'll now notice is we've prefixed these web orders with a W. So you have clear line of sight into what orders came from the website, and then what orders came in via other alternatives. That could be, still getting some email and phone in orders. That could be your EDI orders, for example. We don't particularly care how they get into Sage 100. Once they get there, we can display them, but just for proof of concept on sales order, importing to Sage, when I come here and search for this SKU, I now see the sales order just like a human entered it into the system. Now, the only thing is here, there's not going to be any errors. There's not going to be I meant to type a 2 and I typed a 9, or I thought I typed 10, but really I typed 10,000. And as you can see here, there's that miscellaneous comment. So this would be just one way that customers are able to have a simple, easy add-on to take a next step with the solution, again, as a phase 2 or a phase 1B. And then one other thing that's very common with customers that say, hey, we have the customer portal by CIMcloud, so we can track orders and we can track invoices and make payments. One thing that we want to do, we don't want to do online ordering. We just want to stand up a catalog and show inventory. We get calls all day, every day about what items are in stock, how much of this do you have, when can I get this, which warehouse is this in? So if I come over to this different demo system here, this would be that same coffee maker we were just looking at, only now I can see multiple warehouses and which items are in stock. So this would eliminate a next step question of, or really a precursor to the order question of, hey, can I get item XYZ, or do I need to go look at a different competitor? So displaying that inventory is going to help you obviously fight off those competitive threats. It's also going to eliminate yet another phone call or yet another email that may be coming into your organization. So this would be a very common, very simple add-on that I see purchased either again in phase 2 or in parallel with that customer portal by CIMcloud for Sage 100. So those are just a couple of the ways that users are able to expand on the overall platform offering. So we've taken a look at that fully integrated B2B e-commerce. We've taken a brief look at some of the CRM style tools and even some additional add-ons that I didn't show, like our advanced note-taking that's available here. Again, really more account management focused CRM than think like your pipeline, your prospecting type tools. So this would be really more, hey, this customer doesn't like it when you do deliveries on Fridays. This customer, his birthday or her birthday is December the 9th. So make sure if you're there around then you say happy birthday, or, no matter what this customer says, don't deliver this product because they're going to return it. So all of those key account notes for your existing customers can be logged in the system. And then as I alluded to very briefly earlier, a phase 2, a phase 3 of this may be, hey, we want to try a new sales channel that's direct to consumer, and we want to do that with an integrated application so we don't have to manage all of our data in 2 places, and we can do those add-ons as well. That would be a very common phase 2 project that I see would be to open up or replace an existing B2C web store. I mentioned there is a whole litany of things that we can do in future phases to kind of scale the application as your business scales its usage. One of the things I mentioned is the multi-store. So, hey, we have the B2B portal. We want to add on a direct-to-consumer site. Another very common one is our data sets bundle here that says I have the same products that are available for every single one of my customers, but 3 of my national accounts have exclusivity for these 2 product lines. So you can create customer specific web stores. This would be the inventory tools bundle that we took a look at. So really the methodology here at CIMcloud is start with a very minimum or a very minimal in sense of requirements, limit your overhead in the project, make sure you get live quickly, you get ROI and adoption from the platform, and then scale it out to fit your business as needed. So that would be one example of the add-on bundles that are available for you. So we're going to get to a poll. We're then going to get to Q&A, which is the good part. You don't have to listen to me driving the questions. I can answer ones that are specific to you. But how do you purchase this product? You can contact your Sage reseller. We always want to include them in the process. Anytime we're doing something or anytime you're doing something that involves your ERP system, you really should make sure you have that expert in the room to help navigate the decision. We can go through a demo that's tailored to your individual requirements. That may be with me, that may be with one of my reps on the new customer side of things, but we're happy to schedule that tailored demo, go through some discovery on what your business objectives are in the short and the long term, and then tailor a demo around what you need. And then you can always just, don't take me at my word for it, and go visit the Sage Marketplace. Everything we've covered today is available there, as well as some additional information on the solution, how you can buy it, and how quickly it can be implemented. I'll give you a cheat sheet on implementation timeline. This could be stood up anywhere between about 6 weeks and 3 months, 3 to 4 months. So it really just depends on how quickly you go. But deployment of the platform and the ERP integration is very quick on our end, especially with a small project like the AR portal. You can obviously reach out to me. So my contact information is on screen here. One of my business development representatives, Grayson Truslow's information is on here as well. So you're welcome to contact either of us. We will more than likely want to include either your Sage reseller or someone from the Sage team, just to make sure that we do have that expert in the room. But you're welcome to contact us directly, and we're happy to kind of coordinate a personal call from there. And now you are going to hear me stop talking, and I'm going to let Ali chime back in.
All right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll question. So if you could take, 30 seconds or so to answer it, we'd really appreciate it. So the question is, would you be interested in a personalized demo of CIMcloud for your organization? Yes, over the next month. Yes, over the next 1 to 3 months. Maybe, but need more information first, or not at this time. So please go ahead and answer that, and I'll leave it open for a few more seconds. And then Jack, we have quite a few questions, so we'll get to those next.
Good, that's my favorite part of it.
All right, so I am gonna go ahead and close out the poll. Thank you to everybody that answered. And Jack, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we move to some audience questions?
I am going to hit my next slide, and we can go ahead and switch into questions.
All right, sounds good. So the first question that we have is, can we use any processor we choose for customer payments?
That is a great question and a common question. So we have a list of 5 compatible gateways. One of them, many of you are familiar with, which is Paya, which is the native Sage application. We have Repay, which was formerly APS. We have eBiz Charge, which was formerly Century Business or CBS. You can always use an authorized.net gateway and then latch whatever bank you want onto the back end of the authorized.net connection. And we have a new processor or merchant that we're working with called Fortis that many of you may be familiar with as well. We do have an ability to do custom integrations with third-party payment gateways or merchants, but many times I kind of coach clients, if you have a merchant you like, maybe for POS purposes or just familiarity, you could always get a web-only merchant to process the online payment. So we do want to be flexible. but we also want to make sure we're not having you invest resources when we have a whole portfolio of standard compatible merchants.
All right, thank you. The next question is, do system-generated emails send from and receive to our own email account?
So they would be sent from the application, so it wouldn't go out of your outbox. But if you are copied on them or your customers that receive them, they would come in like any other email. So if I'm a customer, it would come into my Outlook or my Gmail or whatever I'm using. And then again, your team, you being the owner of CIMcloud, would only see those system emails on the platform. Now we would have the URL associated with your URL so that the user is comfortable with where the email is being received from. And we actually are obviously in the process of continuing to improve our email delivery. As many of you are aware, there is an increasing amount of security and spam and blockers, which is a good thing. But yeah, so it would come from your business. It just wouldn't come through your Outlook.
Got it. Thank you. The next question is, can reps enter orders for customers?
Absolutely. So they can do that multiple ways, all through the employee portal. They can also use the impersonation feature, and they could do this for both the accounts receivable functionality as well as the order functionality. So they could hop on a call like this with, or you could hop on a call like this with your customers, and kind of walk them through their portal as an onboarding mechanism to say, hey, I'm here for you. I love supporting your account. I can still place these orders for you. But if you want to actually use the system, here's how it looks and works. So absolutely. And that's a big value add of the kind of CIM value proposition, is that all in one. Reps can do the same thing that customers can do, and customers can see the same data that reps have access to.
Great. All right. How are sales tax tables maintained? Do you integrate with Avalara?
I'll take the second question first. We do integrate with Avalara. It's a simple process to latch that on the CIMcloud platform. You just type in your Avatax keys. And what we do is we pass the shopping cart, would be the weight and the ship to address throughout the checkout process, obviously at the payment page. And that's where we get those real-time rates back from Avalara. We then pass in the Avatax tax schedule into the ERP. For those users that aren't using Avalara, I'm not paid by them, but I would encourage you to evaluate that. Managing tax is a nightmare, especially in today's world with all the economic nexus stuff going on. But if you are managing your own internal rate tables, we sync those up to the website as well. So we can handle it both ways. Really just depends on how your business is managing tax and prefers to manage tax.
Okay, great. Let's see. Is data exchanged between Sage and the portal in real time or according to a schedule?
Real time. I obviously showed that, but it could be very theatric in a demo. I could kind of muddy up the system. Yeah, so it's real time. What I see on cash receipts and sales order imports is truly about 60 seconds. Those get passed through. When you're talking about things updating from Sage, so that may be pricing, that may be changes to an order. I typically see those a little bit slower, somewhere in that 90 seconds to 2-minute time frame. So a little bit more lead time, a little bit more data moving behind the scenes for what we call the from ERP configuration. But yeah, it's all real time, no scheduling, no flipping of a switch, no pushing or pulling on the owner of the platform.
All right, thank you. Let's see, next question. Can you have multiple price lists for different types of customers? So for example, retail versus wholesale.
Absolutely. So we would read the retail price, or for retail customers, we would read that from either the standard price or the retail price field on the item maintenance record. And then for your wholesale customers who may have multiple different pricing rules on their account, we would read it at that account level. So again, that could be like a flat 10% or 20% discount. That could be some sort of unique markup that you guys are doing. That could also be different discounts by product line. So yeah, the whole system's built to accommodate variable pricing rules and regulations across all of your customers, both B2C and B2B.
Awesome. Does this replace Sage CRM in terms of customer info?
It is not designed to, and I have plenty of customers that use both in parallel. But for some users, it may be an alternative solution to consider. One thing I briefly mentioned and would definitely say in all candor is the prospecting. So taking someone from a lead all the way through kind of that buying process. If you sell more complex goods or if you're constantly doing new customer acquisition, there's some features that Sage CRM has that are a little bit better and a little bit more advanced in terms of converting leads into customers, where really our solution is focused currently. Now there's ongoing R&D efforts to continue expanding on the product, but where we really focus our CRM solution currently is on those existing customers that have already been won and already have that Sage account. So hopefully that answered the question. If not, I'm happy to elaborate a little bit further.
Awesome, thank you. I think this is a good one for everyone. Is this the same product as the website pipeline platform by CIMcloud?
It is. It is. It is a very similar or the same product. So Website Pipeline Inc. is still our corporate entity. CIMcloud is our product. So we've kind of pivoted in 2018 into commercially leading with our product branding, which is CIMcloud. But it is the same company, the same ownership group. And what I walked through today is just a trimmed down kind of entry-level solution to our customer portal. And then, as I mentioned, you can really scale it out into be everything you may have known or heard about with Website Pipeline in the past. So good catch from whoever in the audience may have spoken with us in the past or could even be an existing customer.
Definitely. All right, we still have a few more to go. Are you good? There's
a
lot of questions.
Keep it, and I love it.
Awesome. Can you pull over user-defined fields to the portal?
Absolutely. So I figured that question was coming at some point. I would say this probably for new customers, about half of the projects that I deal with have some usage of a user-defined field. That may be like a simple web-enabled checkbox that tells us what products to bring over to the website. That could be something very complex that manages like minimum quantities on products. I've seen customers that use user-defined fields to kind of create their own version of unit of measure where they manage everything by the each, but they want to sell by the case. So they use some user-defined fields there. I've seen user-defined fields to house different description information. So absolutely. And I would say probably half or more of our customers actually utilize a user-defined field in one way or another. So we know you guys and gals like to take advantage of those fields to kind of customize Sage. And as I mentioned, Sage needs to be the system of record for the platform.
Great. Okay. Is the payment merchant the same for payments made directly in Sage or on the portal, or would it be two different merchant accounts?
It could be the same or it could be different. So if you're using an existing, like a very common application would be customers that are using Paya inside of Sage 100. Yeah, it would be the exact same merchant account. But it could be the same, it could be different. But yeah, we do need some acknowledgement in the ERP to kind of tie where the payments are coming from. But you're spot on there. It could be the same and it could be different. It just depends on what you need us to be able to do for you.
Awesome. So this customer said, we have 5 instances and active company codes. Would those require separate CIMcloud instances or could they be merged?
Y'all are giving me some good ones. Yeah, so our multi-company file bundle or add-on, you could have essentially limitless company files that we sync up. I would say out of customers, we have about 400 active customers. I think the most I've seen is 3 or 4 company codes. But yeah, it would all come to the same CIMcloud backend instance. Just giving a little bit of a preview here. This is where, oh, I don't have that turned on. Yeah, everything would come to the same backend management workspace for products. You would manage all of the products or all the accounts in the same spot. And then we could either have those all going to the same platform, or we could have different sites or kind of external instances of the customer facing application running on the back end. So I guess a different or an easier way of saying that is you would have one backend CIMcloud administrative portal, or that employee portal. And then you could have with all those different company files integrated in. And then you could have one or as many sites as you have company files. And again, that's very more common than you would imagine. I shouldn't say very common. I have actually 2 projects that are with existing customers that we have ongoing right now to bring in a second or a third company file. And then a couple of times a year, we'll do a new project where there is a multi-company file integration up front. So definitely something we can do. And it's important for you as the buyer to not have multiple platforms, at least on the back end, that you have to manage, and obviously multiple platforms that have to be built and purchased. So good question.
Great. The next one is, does it integrate with Sage Alerts and workflow?
So I see it used in parallel. God, these are all questions that are really recent for me. I have a customer that is doing they're consolidating multiple files into a single file actually this weekend. But the key thing that made me think of that is they have Sage Alerts that go to various parts of the organization as the order comes in, and then as different things happen throughout the process of filling the order. So different changes, different things being added. And it's really more of an internal kind of behavioral. People are used to getting those alerts from Sage. So they're able to essentially, CIMcloud takes care of getting everything into the ERP. The alerts take it from there. And then as everything comes back out, payments come in. So we don't quote unquote integrate into the alerts and workflows, but the alerts and workflows are triggered off of the data that we pass into the ERP. So they kind of work in parallel would be a better or a different way of saying that.
All right, thank you. Can customers set up auto pay on invoice due date with their default payment method?
It's a good question. We have not seen enough demand to fully productize that, but I have seen that implemented as a customization, and we actually have that on the product backlog currently. We do have recurring order functionality that's ready for install out of the box as an add-on. So I shouldn't say out of the box. That's available as an add-on. The only complexity that goes into those recurring payments is just triggering the interaction with the merchant or with the gateway. So there's just a little bit of additional custom setup that we have to do to make it work for auto payments. There's also just some approval and just some different things that need to be built in to make sure we're being compliant there. But it's available as a customization. And then, as I mentioned, recurring or programmatic orders is standard product that can be plugged on like Legos.
Awesome. Well, everyone, I really appreciate your questions, but we have hit the top of the hour. Jack, I think there was about 4 more questions that went unanswered. So I will be sure to send those to you directly so you can follow up with everyone individually. But that is going to conclude our webcast for today. Jack, thank you so much for walking us through the presentation and demonstration. And to everyone else, thank you so much for joining, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank y'all, and thanks, Allie.
All right, bye-bye. Have a good one.